Hi, and welcome to IAMTS Podcast. My name is Marian Josek, and I'm from Octonix, which is partner of IAMTS, and we are also partnering with SAE ITC. If you are for the first time in IAMTS Podcast, happy to have you here. Welcome. Today we will have a great guest. It is Professor Günther Prokop from Dresden University. I'm very exciting to be able to talk to real professor from automotive area from one of the greatest universities. It would be interesting to know what is the reason why he decided to have a career in academia. Professor Prokop is co-chair of IMTS TLC committee. Well, for those of us who don't know what TLC means, just to explain that TLC is Technical Leadership Committee, very important body at IMTS. TLC is responsible to lead engineers within various working groups, handle various projects, and produce technical papers. We will talk about many things around mobility. Coming up. Hello,
Hello,
Professor Prokop. Wie geht's?
hello, Herr Josit. Nice to meet you again.
Yeah. Well, this time I make sure that the recording is going on, so we can immediately start with questions. Last week I had a podcast with Andrea Leitner. I don't know if she told you that. Andrea Leitner. It's kind of normal format to ask 10 questions. And Andrea was also answering all 10 questions, and she has also one question for you. And we will handle it at the end of the podcast today.
Oh, I'm curious.
So my first question would be, what brought you in automotive industry and especially in academia?
Mm. Yeah, thank you for that question. So I was always an automotive guy. So from you are um, as already as a child you are you like dealing with cars or not. In my case, I liked it very much, and that persisted. And during my studies, I saw that automotive industry and also the automotive product has some very fascinating features because it's a very complicated, highly integrated technical thing. And the more you learn about it, the more questions you have. And this is something which I found really interesting, and it started fascinating me. And then also the dynamics which it provides to you. I was always fascinated by a dynamic movement, and so this brought me to the automotive industry. And in the academia, why academia? Once you are ignited with a certain idea and with some fascination for a topic, you certainly want to bring that to teach that to young people, and also you try to investigate even more in it, and to do research in many topics. And so take this or that, take electromobility or take automated driving or take new materials or whatever. And or how does the vehicle interact with its driver and with the humans around surrounding it? So this is something which I find particularly fascinating, and you can do that freely in the academic world because you are free in choosing your research topics and also teaching that to young people. And so this is something very rewarding.
Oh, thank you. That's interesting, and it looks like it is very addictive if you are very deep in that area. But can you tell us also something about your role at University of Dresden?
Yeah, certainly. So I am my first job here in Dresden. I am leading the chair of automotive technology. So I am addicted to exactly doing what I just lined out, doing research on automotive technology and also on how the vehicles interact with their environment and so environmental traffic and so on. So this is one thing. The second thing is that I am driving a number of infrastructural projects forward. So what we're currently um, uh, or lately put into use was our automotive testing center, which is
Oh,
a large infrastructure consisting of 15 test benches all around the vehicle technology, so from propulsion to handling and ride qualities, from tires to battery systems and so on. So this was a major investment which was done at TU Dresden, mainly sponsored by the European Union. It was 40 million euros.
mhm.
And the second infrastructural project which we are pursuing is our highly immersive driving simulator. And this is the largest driving simulator worldwide. Um,
Oh,
and and it's a very yeah, unique and new concept which allows us to do a very large moving space of such a simulator without the moving masses scaling up with the spaces. And so we managed to have a driving simulator which is 100 has a moving space of 100 by 100 meters and is by the way very dynamic. And so yeah, we think that it has an really very good immersity. So that means that the people who are inside the simulator are very much have very much the impression that they're driving the real car. And we just finished, or we are about to finish that project now. And so this is an investment of 14 million euros, sponsored by the federal government of Germany, of TU Dresden itself, and a number of industry partners. And the third thing is our Smart Mobility Lab, which will be a new campus at TU Dresden with an investment of 90 million euros. And that's mainly sponsored by the federal government of Germany and by the state government of Saxony. And this allows us to do testing of automated driving functions on several levels and also automated flying, so flight drones and so on. So this will be a major step in technological um, research.
Well, that looks that looks huge. That unique on the whole world? There is nobody having something like that. I mean, when you are talking about 100 by 100 meter simulator, that is something that not many people can afford, and that can only be the reason that it will attract more and more students to study that, because it is very exciting and new technology, state of the art. So it looks that this University of Dresden is doing great things in automotive approach.
Yeah, we always so as with other universities, we are facing challenges at the moment with our with the ability of interesting students for our engineering courses. And this is something which I find really challenging at the moment. But we will need more engineers. So we will not need less engineers. We will need more engineers in the future. definitely. And so we have to face this challenge. And of course, we are trying to use all this infrastructure, and of course also our abilities in teaching, um, and yeah, to attract more students. So this is certainly the plan. Yeah.
So we are now exactly touching that question what Andrea was asking to ask you. So let me go through all the questions. Well, I will skip all the questions. Let's go to that question because we are now talking about students, attracting students. And her question was, universities are producing a lot of engineers each year. Is that enough for the industry? If and then if not, what should we do to attract more students to the industry?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would very much like that I had a very good answer to that. I just can tell you that we try. So trying to attract young people, trying to make clear that they um, yeah, that being part of the engineering world is something exciting, is something which has to do with responsibility, responsible thinking. It is something which allows you to think on a systemic level, um, and uh, and it's simply fun. And so this is what we have to transport and what we have to make clear to the young people. And then I think we will, yeah, we can have good hope to increase the numbers of students again. Uh, but this is the hard work to do. So this will not happen by itself. It will have to be made by us.
Yeah, I think that part of responsibility is, of course, at universities, but also the industry have to do more advertising for this type of studies to attract people to go in the automotive industry. Well, interesting that she mentioned that question, and we just touched that.
Interesting, yeah.
So let me go to my fifth question, actually.
Hmm?
There are people who believe that electric cars are only a step between cars using fossil fuel and cars using hydrogen. How far are they from reality?
So I think that in the future we will have a technology mix in propulsion technology. So I think we should not think on one propulsion technology is replacing the other, and which one. So with what is the order in which they come. I think this is the wrong approach. We will have to approach that by parallelizing the way of thinking. So what we see now is there was an attempt by the European Union to really replace combustion engines by electrical or battery electric vehicles. So I'm quite sure that this attempt in this radicality will fail. I think that we will see a future in which all those technologies are in place in parallel to each other. And of course, there will be some weights. Yeah, so um, I I really do think that battery electric vehicles are a very large trend, which will be very sustainable in the future. I think they won't go away. So we have brought that topic to a level which is really outstanding. So this is something which we can be very proud of. If you think or if you look back at the last 10 to 20 years, so the steps which we made in battery electric vehicles is huge. And so there will also be fuel cell vehicles, of course, because there will be applications for that, especially in the heavy-duty truck area and so on. But I also think that for a certain amount of time, and this will be longer than many people think today, we will also have combustion engines, of course, with climate neutral fuels. Yeah.
Mhm.
And and I think it's reasonable to think about the right mix between them. And it's not that I'm not so happy with discussions pointing to what is replacing the other.
Okay. Let's go to autonomous vehicles, L4s. Is there a dedicated study for autonomous vehicles at university, or is it just general part of the study?
So in general, I can say there are a lot of research works on automated driving, of course.
Yeah.
And there are mainly, I can see from my perspective, I can see two main directions. So there are a group of researchers who are mainly focusing on the technological issues and solving everything which has to do with that. So developing the sensors, the algorithms, and so on. And there are others who are who are doing research very much in how can we or how will that be integrated into the society or into the traffic infrastructure. What
Yeah.
what we are doing, especially here at TU Dresden, is we are dealing very much with the question, how safe is automated driving? Because of course this is a very important prerequisite. And without safety, you cannot do that at all. And the question is, how can we make the safety of automated driving measurable so that we can decide on every single type of car? How can we decide if it's safe or if it's not safe? If it, let's say, if it gets the driver's license or not. Yeah. And so what we are especially doing is we are working on developing criteria on along which we can decide if a vehicle is safe or not.
Okay. That brings me to, you just mentioned that there is a group of studies or investigations about implementation of those autonomous vehicles in society. Reducing traffic congestion is one of the reasons for implementing those vehicles. What will ordinary people notice in next 3 years? Would there be any reduction of congestion, or do we have to wait more than 3 years? Let's say 5 or maybe 10 years.
Mm. I think in that question we will have to think in decades rather than in years,
Oh, okay.
let's say. And to be honest, I'm not so sure if we will see a decline of congestions. Maybe it's the other way around because maybe we will see people moving out from towns, outside towns, going to the rural regions, and because I mean driving to work in the morning and having 1 hour time for going to work is no longer a problem for them once they are automated. I mean, they can very easily do that. And so we have the risk that by automating the driving, we will even attract more traffic. Then so it could be that we create new problems instead of solving others. So there must be, so this is just a, yeah, just a what I think. So I have not done a study on that. So there must be very extensive investigations and very intensive investigations on how the automated driving affects society and how it affects our behavior, our mobility behavior. And I think we have to think very carefully to how in which direction this goes and in which direction we want it to go.
I've heard some people telling about that, and they say, well, we are now in transition from nothing to autonomous vehicles, and they expect more congestion in that area. But once when it is implemented, it will be regulated by itself, because then traffic be regulated automatically by sensors, by computers, by signaling, and then we will. I, my personal opinion is, it can be that there will be no congestion, but it have to be extrapolated in time. It will maybe take longer to go from place A to B without big congestion and without sitting in a car in a traffic jam and waiting for 10 minutes to move forward. So I don't
Yeah,
know. We will see. It will take
yeah,
some time to get so far.
yeah. We will have to do real scientific studies on that. So it's nothing which we can just decide on or have an
Yeah,
opinion on. It's
it's
something
not
which has
sophisticated
to
if
be
we just
investigated.
if
Yeah,
we just rely on our feelings and our opinions. It have to be
yeah,
proven by data.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
agree with that totally.
Mm.
Let's go to IMTS. Can
Mm.
you tell us what is added value of IMTS from your point of view?
So as I said, we are currently working on finding measures uh, for so to decide how safe the automated driving in a car is. And of course, once you have found these measures and with the scientific methodology, you have to turn them into a legislation, and you have to install authorities, and you have to bring that to life. And also, there must be some rules derived from those findings, alongside which the car manufacturers and the system developers can develop their cars and their technology. And IMTS is providing standards for that. So this is a very, very important task because, of course, it's not only Theo Dresden who is doing research on such methods or on such criteria. There are also other research groups, and of course, the whole industry is working on that topic, and so there must be some measures to bring that into a common standard. So which criteria are we talking about? Which simulation models do we use? Which proving grounds and how does the proving grounds have to be equipped so that we can use them? And what procedures do we need to get to a homologation? And so I find it really important that an organization like IAMTS is doing this standardization work and doing this in a global, worldwide context. So this is also the most important thing. So it's not restricted to one country or one continent. It's really global, and this is very precious.
Okay. One more about IMTS. You are co-chair of technical leadership committee. Is there anything particular that you would like to focus on?
Yeah, so what I just said is, first of all, is the reason why I'm engaging there. And of course, what do I want? What do I want to provide to the community by this engagement? So I just told you told you about our driving simulator, and I told you about our smart mobility lab facility, which allows us to basically to do methodological developments of new or develop new methods for providing the safety of the automated driving. And of course, I want to bring our findings and our research findings into the community, discuss it with the community. And of course, I'm trying to help building up new standards. And if I can help with this work, if I can volunteer in this, then it's a great thing to do.
Okay, thank you very much. That, by the way, we were talking already a half an hour and handled 10 questions. So thank you very much for great and open discussion.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate your time, and also thank everyone for tuning in for today's episode. And we hope that you will be a co-chair of Technical Leadership Committee for many years, because it is very good to have somebody from academia to steer the industry in direction that it is funded by data and not just by feelings. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much as well. Yeah.